everyone, and welcome to Take Two Radio. I'm Pam, your host, and with me co-hosting today is my good buddy David. Hey, David.
Hey, Pam. What's cooking tonight?
Not me. We were just talking about food prior to the show, so I think that's why he did that to me.
Yeah.
We're in the mood for Chinese, Mexican, and what was the other one? I don't even remember.
Remember.
Italian. So, anybody want to deliver to us, we're waiting. But in the meantime, we'd like to welcome our guest tonight. He's an actor, a writer, and a director, and he is BRIAN GASKILL. Hi, Brian.
Hey, how are you?
What are you in the mood for to eat today?
Food? Pretty much anything would be okay.
Okay.
What am I in the mood for? Yeah, I would be in the mood for like some very, maybe some decadent Indian food in New York City somewhere would be nice.
Mm.
Okay, so all of our listeners out there, deliver some decadent Indian food to Brian. Or take them out to eat. That's even better yet, right?
I'm up for the Indian food.
So, anyways, we will get down to business here with grilling you. No, I'm only kidding. For our listeners that may not be familiar with who you are, although I think everybody should pretty much know, how did you get started in the acting business? Why did you want to be an actor?
I mean, I pretty much was doing it from a very early age. I was kind of scared of auditions when I was 11 years old and stuff like that. But and just in school, I wasn't doing it professionally.
Mm-hmm.
And then one summer I played Peter Pan in a play, and I guess the bug caught me. I just from a very early age just always liked movies and all that stuff, and really connected to the drama of it, and wanted to be a part of it, and telling stories that way. And so I just I went to a performing arts high school, and then went to an arts conservatory for college at SUNY Purchase, and just continued to do it. I mean, some years were better than others, but it's been pretty much my career, and something that I just kind of always knew I wanted to do. It was just, I just wanted.
It was just in your blood, in your soul.
Well, I guess. I mean, I had an acting teacher once that kind of. Sometimes I would get sick of acting and the game of it all out here in Hollywood, and I'd be on the set for I'd be having a guest star on Diagnosis Murder or something, and I'd go home being not really satisfied, and then I had an acting teacher, his name is slipping me right now, but he talked about storytelling. And he always talked about just tell the story, and I realized at that moment that it wasn't just the acting, it was storytelling. I was wanting to be part of stories that I connected to and wanted to tell and be a part of. So I sort of shifted focus in my head to realize that, I just didn't want to be a pawn in everybody else's game, and I wanted to be able to tell stories that I really cared about. And that was a long time ago, but it's taken that long before I finally started writing my own stuff and trying to, do that.
Right. Well, sometimes it does take time. You have to learn what you need to know and how to do it, and it's just like any other job.
I think a lot of that's just life. I mean,
right.
Part of it's learn. It's not even the technical stuff as much as, I think everything happens for a reason, and creatively sometimes people are very creative when they're younger, and then it sort of peters out. Or they die, they're more prolific when they're younger, and than not, and some people like myself, I think it just worked out that way. You just need to live a little more life before you feel like you really have something to say.
Right, you have to have life experience besides book smart. So.
Right.
Yeah, you do.
Man, you have to be able to. That's why I think people. We live in a culture, in a world where people think it's very youth obsessed right now in the last 20 years especially, and everything's like brilliant if you're 15, but if you're over 40 and doing something, it's like, well, it's too late for that. You've already chosen your life, and that's not the case. I think a lot of people, you change your career, you change your life, things change. You're able to, you just have to stay active, do what you do what you love, and someday it might not always be in the public eye, but you do it. You keep doing it, and maybe someone will notice someday. But just because you get older doesn't mean you stop.
Right.
I mean, there was a time where you had directors that didn't even really start directing movies until they were in their 40s.
Exactly.
So
exactly. And my job has
22,
changed, and I'm past 40.
22-year-old director. Yeah.
So you can always do whatever you love, whenever you can, whenever you want to.
And sometimes it's what I'm saying. The point really was that it's for the better sometimes, because you have a life lived. You have something to say. You're not just making stuff up at 25 years old.
Exactly. Now, what type of work did you do while you were looking for acting jobs, or did you get lucky and, book the first role you went for?
Yeah, I pretty much was. I did a little stuff here and there, but unfortunately now, when I started, I used to joke that I became an actor because I couldn't get a job waiting tables to save my life.
Oh.
And it kind of was true, because it wasn't really true, but every time I went to apply for jobs at a restaurant, nobody would hire me because I didn't have experience. Or they found out I had a good agent, and they were like, "Oh, you have like a real agent. We don't want to hire you because you're probably going to work." So, literally, people said that to me when I first came to Los Angeles.
That's amazing.
And, so now, being older, in the down times when I try to get other work, I'm in the same boat a lot of people are in America. I'm an older person who's very successful in one job and doesn't have a lot of experience in any other job. So the other jobs are like, well, it's the typical unemployed American these days. You're overqualified for everything and you're underqualified for everything.
That is so very true.
Yeah.
Yeah. Well, your first daytime role was on All My Children as Bobby Warner. How did you end up with that part?
Yeah. Well, I had already done primetime. I worked for Aaron Spelling on Mom Sink. So I just, after that was over, after that was over, sorry, I have something caught in my throat. Hold on.
Oh, that's all right. Take a drink of something.
Thanks.
So after that was over, I decided to go back to New York. I met with the casting people at All My Children, and they hold on a sec.
Okay.
Hello?
Yes.
Yep.
Hi. So I just, I started a theater company in New York, and while I was there, I met with the casting people at All My Children, and that was that. I tested for a couple different roles and ended up playing Bobby.
Oh, that's pretty neat. I didn't know that you opened up a theater company.
Hello?
Is it still around?
Is what still around?
I said it's pretty neat. I didn't know that you opened up a theater company.
Yeah, I started a theater company with Shea Wiggum, who is on Boardwalk Empire now. We graduated college together, and I had some success out in L.A., and he was just in New York doing his thing, and I wanted to do some theater with people that I went to college with, and so I used a lot of the money I made and started producing theater in New York. And while I was there, I started meeting with the casting directors who I had known from when I graduated college. I met with them then,
Mhm.
And that's that. So I started doing that.
And I'm sure you gave a lot of other actors their start, like doing their first play or something.
Yeah, actually, it's funny. One of the first actors we cast was Jennifer Esposito.
Really?
Yeah. And she hadn't done anything at that point.
Yeah.
So
that's pretty neat.
She
you can take credit for giving her start.
I guess in some ways, yeah. There's me and Shay and a couple other people, but yeah.
Mhm.
But
well, what did you like about playing Bobby? Anything stand out in your head?
Yeah, I liked that it was. I mean, as far as dealing with all my children back then, it was very. Even though it was a soap opera, it didn't feel like a soap opera in the sense that I just felt I was playing a teenager, and I was too old to be playing a teenager at the time, but it was very. It was more like it felt like my show called Life, and it felt like just more based in reality than even the primetime stuff I had done, and
right.
And playing a teenage father, and just kind of having sort of the redemption storyline of having like this kind of a jerk kid sort of coming around to finding himself through his child that was born, and then giving his child up for adoption. Which I didn't know until recently. The writers at the time had had gone down to Washington to win. They won some award having to do with adoption.
Oh, really?
The representation of adoption in the media or something like that. So it felt very real when we were working on it, and then I found out just like this year that had happened. I was like, oh wow, that makes sense.
Well, what do you think of them being online now? You think that's a good idea to keep soaps alive?
Yeah, no, to me, I don't look at it as, a soap is, the reason it's called soap is because...
Yeah, well, we're used to calling it that.
Yeah, to me, it's a story that people are connected to, and if there's a venue where you can put it on and they could keep telling it, then that's a good thing. So I don't of course that's a good thing. Put people back to work, and
yes.
And put it on in some place where somebody wants to see it, and it's all good. I kind of understood when things got canceled. I didn't know all the ins and outs of it, but I had been part of it too with Port Charles, and I think when that happens, potentially it didn't have to happen, but somewhere along the line it becomes about it's just about money. It's a money decision.
Exactly.
So somebody up top. It's all a game. We're selling advertising, and if it's not making them enough money, and they decide it has to go. Where it backfires, though, when you find out in the long run, and this is the case with a lot of things, is when you're constantly just struggling and going for the quick. Okay, we're losing money, and you pull out, and then you replace it with something that's cheaper, and that's good for now. But eventually, the quality of that is gonna wear off. It's gonna show, and people are gonna be like, "Wait a second, but I really like that thing that cost a little more."
Right.
And now you canceled it, and now it's not there just because you didn't want to spend a little more money to continue telling a story that's been told all these years. So it's a judgment call, but going through from 2008 on, people, with the economy and everything, have been struggling so much that, unfortunately, some things are going to suffer. It's a testament to the shows that the fans stepped up and sort of made it happen, and